I put up 2 doors up. About to cut that road. Walk on like I'm saying, what you want? Smoke some bitch. Thank God I got my own. Feel that I'm not wrong now. Tryna find my soul now. I can go to shows now. Got me a new pole now. Got me a new hole now. About to cut that rose now.
Yeah. That's what's up, Bernie with the rose. Officially out. Alright, let me put this shit on. Alright, so we'll cut that off. But yeah. SOUTHPAW Slick, and basically the topic of discussion is going to be about the MGTOW movement, or as I would like to say, and most other MGTOW or Manospherians would like to say, ideology. The MGTOW ideology is something I felt compelled to talk about, considering the fact that it actually got some media coverage on CNN with Big John, or MGTOW is freedom, as most people in the Manosphere know. And basically, the MGTOW ideology is something that is reactionary. It's not political by any means. I don't find it to be political. And it's basically a group of men that decided to go their own way, which can consist of anything. That could be distancing your interaction with women. It could be pursuing goals, traveling, basically anything that doesn't prioritize relationships, cohabitation, marriage, anything of that sort. MGTOW doesn't move in a similar fashion as feminists do, which a lot of people would like to say. The MGTOW movement is not a monolith, or like Stardust likes to say, that feminists, they have a Borg consensus. Basically, they think the same, they act the same, they walk the same, they talk the same. It's like they're like robotic, opposed to MGTOW. MGTOW themselves, I think they arbitrarily put things into place. It's like, this is the way this MGTOW lives, and this is the way that MGTOW lives. I would say pretty much the only thing that would be similar to all MGTOW is the agreement to not get married and not cohabitate with women. I think those are like the two main things that most MGTOW agree on. And even some MGTOW will be extreme and say that they don't even want a long-term relationship with a woman. But I've also seen MGTOW show leniency to that. That, you know, like, yeah, it's fine, you know, or whatever. Just don't get married and don't live with her. But if you want to be with her, you know, for the long run, that's fine too, you know. That's going your own way, right? Or, I mean, as a logically speaking, it would be, you know, that's the way you want to do things, that's the way you want to do things. You might really find a woman that you vibe with like that. Some dudes, like, now it's like MGTOW have a scale, you know, I mean, which it already was in place, you know, a few years ago. But some MGTOW don't agree with that, you know, because they're like, you know, that limits your, you know, going your own way aspect of the MGTOW. You know, it's like you have the level 1 to 5 MGTOW, you know, like 1 being, you know, the guy that's pretty much in his purple pill bargaining stage, and then you have like level 5 MGTOW, which can be somebody that's completely ghost, like they're cutting off their interaction not only with women but society as a whole. Like they're like off the grid, off the map, or going gawk, like some people like to say. It's very intricate when you look at it that way. But basically, that's MGTOW. You know, MGTOW isn't something I see as harmful per se. I'll say maybe more so. I said it might have some kind of malignancy towards the birth rate and the dating scene, but other than that, it's not really that big of a deal. I'm saying nowadays, even before MGTOW even blew up the way it did, it's like nowadays, a lot of people, even women, they don't want to get married and have kids. A lot of them are very, goal oriented, career focused, or like I said, a lot of people are in a constant state of hedonism. It's all about instant gratification. Everything is about getting it right then and there. Nobody wants to work towards something. Nobody actually wants to set that cornerstone for that foundation to be built. It's like that's not a priority nowadays. And that can be seen as an issue with some people, like some tradcons or traditional right-wing individuals. They might look at that as a bad thing. Even some liberals will look at it as a bad thing. Mostly feminists, of course. But MGTOW is really not that bad. Now, with MGTOW itself, me personally, I was introduced to it back in early 2013. I'll probably say somewhere around like the end of January, somewhere in February, I was introduced to MGTOW by a Tom Likas video. I was like looking through the comments. It was like one of the first like 4 or 5 comments, and it was in big capital letters, the acronym MGTOW. Look it up. That was it. That was the comment. MGTOW, look it up. I looked it up. The very first thing that popped up, which probably happened to the majority of you at the time, was the Stardust compilation. So I clicked on that. I listened to a good majority of it, before I changed to something else. And I will say that it kind of was, it was like an enlightened moment. Like I really found the video to be very insightful, very informative, and it was almost like knowledge I wanted to reject. Like it was something I really didn't want to subscribe to. Like that blue pill kicks in. That blue pill, red pill. It's like that ambivalence between both of those is insane at first. It's like you're like, oh, this is like sounding real good, and then you're on the flip side, like, oh, but I still want to, fuck around with women. I mean, you really have that battle, that internal struggle with yourself, when you start looking up some good MGTOW content, especially like the pseudo intellectuals at the time. Because after I saw the Stardust compilation video, the next thing that popped up was a video from not Stardust, my bad, Barbarossa. And after Barbarossa, it was Spetnaz. I watched a video from him, and after Spetnaz, it was Sandman. So that's how I got introduced to Sandman. Was from a Spetnaz video. And after Sandman, it was Razorblade Candy, which initially I wasn't really, too fond of his content at first, because I'm not a big fan of the type of talk format. You know how you like, you type something in and it has like an automated voice that vocalizes it. Like me, I'm not a big fan of that, but I learned to overlook it once I found out that he had a speech impediment. So that's why he used that method for making his video content. So after a while, I kind of overlooked it, kind of gave it some kind of suspension of disbelief and just let it rock. And he has some really good, or has some really good content, because he's been very, very inactive, these past few years. So, I mean, but Razorblade Candy is still somebody that's heavily acknowledged in the MGTOW community. So that was my introduction to MGTOW, was from a Stardust compilation video, and then I just slowly found everybody else afterwards. And it definitely has been a journey, because the thing about it is I was kind of living a MGTOW-esque lifestyle anyway, so I wasn't, necessarily like convinced to be MGTOW, and I'm still not going to say I'm a MGTOW 100% or I'm 100% red pill. I'll say I'm more so in the purple pill zone, meaning that I do have red pill knowledge. I have a much better understanding of female nature and male nature and our biological imperatives. I have a much better perspective or viewpoint of that, and that's one thing I can say I benefited from with the MGTOW thing. But still, I still would like to be in a long-term relationship with somebody that I have 100% compatibility with. But considering the generation that we're in and the mindset that most people have, I don't know. It's like you almost start becoming more disenchanted with the whole romantic concept. It's like, it's like you really look at things kind of different now. Just seeing the selection out there, it's really fucked up right now. It really is. Me just being blatant, it's very fucked up right now. But yeah, like I said, I'm probably like more so of a purple pill guy. You say, oh, you one blowjob away. Like I said, nah, I ain't that desperate because, like I said, I don't prioritize it. It's probably dead last on my list. But if I do happen to run across a woman that I vibe with and we just have that chemistry like that, like I said, I'm gonna rock with it. That's just me. Like I said, I'm not telling everybody else, hop on board. I'm saying some dudes is like, they already done that, been there, done that. I don't want to do the shit. Especially guys that have been divorced and, been raped by the court system. I'm saying, of course, like, I'm definitely not going to tell them, to switch up because there's really no reason to. There's no incentive to, and it's kind of crazy, But like I said, that's pretty much, my personal thing with MGTOW. Like I said, MGTOW, I have a lot of respect for it. I'm glad that it does exist, mostly because of the court system. I'm saying it's like that was pretty much the main thing behind it, because a lot of dudes would be perfectly fine playing the field if it was safe, but it's not. But you also got to factor in rape culture, the marginalization of masculinity, which is becoming more and more prevalent. I'm saying you have to put all of these things into consideration. And when you look at it that way, MGTOW does make sense. You have to have, something come out of this. It's like you see all of this political correctness and policing going on. It was inevitable, how this MGTOW thing came about. I'm saying it's as if MGTOW was contrived based on the outcome of modern society. It's crazy, But like I said, but you can definitely thank the court system, feminists, meninists, SJWs. You can thank all of those groups. Like I said, it's crazy with all this, all this balkanizing. Like I say, how we have all these little groups, and it's kind of weird to me. But it is what it is. That's the internet for you. But yeah, like I said, MGTOW, and then you have like other subgroups, but I actually think it preceded MGTOW. The Shukukedanchi, or the herbivore men in Japan, which there are a lot of similarities between them and MGTOW, but it's different because of cultural differences. I'm saying in Japan, speaking of herbivore men, I wish there was more herbivore men on YouTube or on the internet. But I said, but they seem kind of like, apathetic towards that kind of stuff, or they're like secluded, like borderline hikikomori, which I'm sure some of them are. But the shut-ins, for people that don't know what hikikomori is. But I would like to see herbivore men or Soshoku Kenanshi make content, because I want to have a better perspective of it. I'm like, yes, you have videos, like Japanese news videos, or a few of the Japanese YouTubers like Utah and Finding Your Love in Japan, like those kind of channels. They dibble and dabble with it a little bit, but they really don't go in. What I mean? It's like, I want to see more herbivore men themselves. The same way you see like Turflanking Monkey and Sandman and Stardust and MGTOW's Freedom. I want to see more herbivore men like that are actually, like making videos and talking about the group. Like I said, I want to know more about it. It's like, from my understanding, herbivore men, which are basically men from their teens to their 40s. Like, it's really that vast. you know, the amount of men that are not in relationships, they're not having sex. Some of them are kissless virgins. They never had sex. They never even kissed a girl. They never even talked to a girl. It's like some of them, they got rejected like once or twice, and that was the end. Like, kind of like TFLers here, which we're going to get to that as well. But the herbivore men, it's like, it's a little bit more extreme than MGTOW. Not only do they avoid women, you know, as far as like romantic interaction, but it's almost as if they don't even have the interest, like their interest in having sex or dating or falling in love is like, that's like non-existent. I mean, but you do have some herbivore men that come across as more like, you know, incel TFL, but I see a lot of herbivore men, they cool with it, you know, like they over there eating their pudding and, you know, wearing makeup and getting their eyebrows trimmed, and they're very metrosexual. You know, it's kind of like the the Mouse Utopia experiment, you know, which a lot of MGTOW know about that. You know, the beautiful ones. They're kind of like the beautiful ones that, you know, stop procreating, and they basically took on a lot of feminine characteristics, which would be, you know, looking aesthetically pleasing. You know, like that. Even if it's not to attract a mate, it's just like to make themselves feel better. I don't know, but that's what it seems like. It's just these guys, like, they're metrosexual. They eat pudding. They avoid women. Sometimes they avoid society as a whole. Like I said, they could. A lot of them are hikikomori, I'm sure, and they pretty much do what most young guys do nowadays. Even older guys do nowadays. Men do nowadays. And that's play video games, watch anime, watch porn, collect toys and and Hatsune Miku figures, whatever they do. Like I said, it's me. I'm not bothered by it. Like I said, they're just doing their thing. Now Japan, they're bothered by it. They're bothered by it because it's really hurting the birth rate there. Because Japan's birth rate has been on a steady decline for years, and I don't even think it's just the hikikomori solely that contribute to that. I think it's so much more than just hikikomori. I'm saying you gotta think about, I say hikikomori, I meant, well, them too. The herbivore man, it's way more than that. The dried fish women, which pretty much that was just a parallel movement created in response to the herbivore man. It's like, oh, these men don't want to fuck us, so fine, we're just gonna act like we don't want to get fucked. And that's the way I'm looking at it, but whatever. And also the horrible work schedule. I'm saying how you got these salarymen or salaryman, you know, like a lot of Japanese dudes don't want to be that. They don't want to be, you know, like hemmed down, you know, like, oh, I'm just a fucking robot working for a check that ultimately I'm gonna have to hand over to my wife, the whole damn check, and she decides what to do with it. I don't think too many Japanese dudes are really feeling that right now. And not only that, but living in Japan is expensive. Having a kid is expensive everywhere. But I'm saying, but it's very, very difficult to manage career life, finances, and raising a family. Like I said, that's difficult for everybody now, but it seems like it's even more so over there. And yeah, like I said, it just makes sense why the birth rate is down. And not only that, but Japan is extremely homogenous. Borderline, you know, like it's, yeah, they're very homogenous and borderline xenophobic. You know, like they really not fans of gaijin or outsiders, you know, living in the country like that. Now visitors maybe even living there, I mean, is okay to an extent, but they don't want to be, you know, genetically wiped out. Like, oh, like, nah, we gotta have Japanese people. But at this rate, I think Japan might want to reconsider. Now, of course, you know, definitely with some, you know, fixed parameters and boundaries, you know, regarding the immigration laws or whatever. I'm saying, of course, because I'm saying that immigration is at an all-time high here, you know. I'll say more so illegal than not, which I'm saying, like, that's cool. I'm saying there's laws for a reason, so I get it. But I'm saying, but they might want to reconsider a little bit. They might want to let some people up in there. You know what I mean? I'm saying just to save the birth rate. But Japan, that's their issue. They'll handle it their own way, and I believe them to do that. So, fine, whatever. That's the herbivore men. And definitely, we want to talk about the TFLers. Now, with MGTOW and the TFLs, a lot of people are starting to group them together, which would be for good reason. Because when you look at a lot of MGTOW videos, especially over the years, it's like when I first came across it, it wasn't as prevalent. It's like you had like the pseudo intellectuals, and you had a lot of people, they were speaking some sense. Of course, you had your misogynistic MGTOWs, which I had a lot of people, oh, MGTOW is a misogynistic movement anyway. No. Are there misogynistic MGTOW? Of course. Are every MGTOW misogynistic? No. And that's what's beautiful about it, is everybody has their own mentality. Some of them are, some of them are. I'll say most of them aren't. But you do have those guys on the comment section, and I even think some of them are undercover women. So on the comment section, I'll talk about, oh, they're very, very hateful and making all these angry rants. Like they're making like these kind of rants of guys that ain't never been laid, they ain't never kissed a girl type. You know what I mean? It's like you could tell how somebody is by what they say to some extent. It's like I'm looking at these dudes on the comment section and like, dog, like you shouldn't even be talking. You know what I mean? Like I do look at it like that sometimes. And I remember with Aaron Clary, you know how he was talking about the fake MGTOW and the real MGTOW. And I said at the time, I'm like, whatever, though. You know, like I took all his content with a grain of salt. But looking back in retrospect, Computing Forever as well. Computing Forever, Armor Skeptic. I've seen both. I've seen the people that agree with MGTOW, and I've seen the people that disagree with MGTOW. But I do see where these guys are coming from. Definitely now. Like I said, I think I had a moment of clarity right there. It's like, like you looking at some of these guys, like, like they seem like just angry ass incels just rambling on. You know what I mean? It really is like that. Or it's like, wait, or it's like, somebody gets into an argument. You know what I mean? Okay, let's say the ones that are really MGTOW, right? That's like you get into an argument with somebody, like, oh, like, fine, I'm walking out the door. Walking out the door, be going your own way. But the whole time, you're standing right in front of the door after you close it, just waiting, from time to time to open it and be like, oh, let me get my last word in. That's kind of like what a lot of these MGTOW are, in the comment section. So they do make MGTOW look bad. So I get why people look at it in a negative light. It makes a lot of sense. And they do come across as very TFL-ish, I know I'm making up some words right now, but that's pretty much it. Like, very TFL. I have no problem with TFLers though. And Sandman brought up a good point. He was saying that with TFLers, the ones that are TFLers in actuality, but they portray to be MGTOW, that it's better to have a TFLer believe that they're straying away from women autonomously, instead of having them believe that they can't get a woman and they're just worthless, hopeless human beings like Elliot Rodger. You know what I mean? Like it really is a good thing in that case when you look at it that way. But as far as like the hate aspect of these TFLers, it's like, it's really like, nah, man, you really making MGTOW look bad. But of course you have TFLers, like Steve Hoka. I don't know what to really consider him, because sometimes he comes across as TFLer, sometimes he comes across as MGTOW. I guess because of age, he gains some kind of wisdom over time. But he's a TFLer, I'm assuming. Infinite One, Oreo Man, or Brendan. Of course, Kent TV. He's probably the most like known one, at least for me. Kent, yeah, yeah, Kent. Matter of fact, where's Kent at? I miss watching Kent's content. Yo, Kent, if you're watching this video, definitely come back and drop some new stuff. But yeah, like the TFL thing. All I can say is, don't be like Elliot Rodger. Please don't. Don't be like Elliot Rodger. I said, all women aren't bad. All women aren't good neither. I'm trying to think. Because I was like, that unicorn thing keeps popping up in my mind, and the Noir, you like looking for your unicorn, and like in the wall. Not all women are like that, like. Okay, hypothetically speaking, let's just say all women are the same, right? Just some are worse than others. That's really what you want to believe. I'm talking like me, not me personally, but I'm saying, but like, that's how a lot of MGTOW act. That's what you want to believe. That there's just no good one out here. And I understand. I'm saying, just looking around, look at all these bitches out here. And yes, I mean bitches. There is a difference. and they outweigh women by a huge amount. There's a lot of bitches out here that ain't worth dating. But on the flip side, for some of these women, look at some of you dudes. Look how you move. I'm saying some of y'all, like I said, ain't got no goals, ain't doing shit, ain't getting no money. Like I said, and not even just, and please don't do it to impress women. Don't do it to impress women. Do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. Like I said, y'all walk around all like bummed out and shit. And I'm saying like basically rolling over and playing dead. Like you really don't want nothing better. Oh, I'm just gonna just be like hoard my money and fuck it and just waste away. Nah, man, like no. Live a little bit. You know, get some confidence in you, man. Like, come on, man, fuck out of here with that shit. And I'll tell you the truth, I think TFLers are the majority of the male population. Let's keep it a buck. And that's even dudes that do get laid. You do get laid. I'm saying, even if you get laid or not, I think the majority of dudes are TFL. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, I get it though. I get it's getting to the point you're scared to do anything. You're scared to do anything. It's like talking to a woman is like a bad thing now. You know what I mean? Just being a man is a bad thing now. Like going out and trying to, of course, properly court a woman is seen as a bad thing. Because every woman is like starting to think that all dudes are rapists. And, you know, just catcalling shit and toxic masculinity, the male gaze and all this bullshit. Like I said, it's like you can't do nothing. So I get why I say shit. You better all be a TFL because you can't do shit. It's, I guess you're going to have to make a contractual obligation to do anything. Even kiss. They're trying to make that rape. Oh, you got to consent to kiss. Don't you know how many dudes are going to get shot down? Don't you realize that? How you look? I'm saying you vibing with a girl. You about to go in for the kill and you like, oh, by the way, can I kiss you? Come on, man. That shit is lame. Come on, man. That shit funny as hell to me. Just thinking about it. And most women, we get turned the fuck off. Come on, you don't want to do the consent everything. Yielding, surrendering, capitulating is consent. It's not vocal. See, they want to make everything vocal consent. You know, you got to vocalize it like yes, no, nah, man. Like I said, some things are not meant to be said. Some things are unspoken language. You know what I mean? Like I said, like when it comes to, you know, I said dating a woman, foreplay, having sex, I said some things you don't communicate. You just get it. You feel what I'm saying? Like when it comes, let's say like the kissing thing, I was saying like you might have to say yes or no to that shit. I'm saying like, come on, man. Like that's just something you just feel. You know what I mean? Like, oh, but that's my 2 cents on it. Like I said, if the majority of the population is TFL, I get it, and I'm not gonna knock you for it. And on the flip side, the robot situation, the humanoid robots, the sex bots, the sex dolls. The fact that a lot of women feel threatened by it speaks volumes. The fact that you feel threatened by some silicone and metal tells me exactly what you're about. Like if you really like you feel that insecure about a fucking robot, that speaks volumes. Now, don't get me wrong, I get it. You know what I mean? You feeling that pinch. You feeling that pinch like, oh man, like we about to get replaced and all these things. I get it. But some dudes, they're not gonna fuck with the robot. Only some dudes are gonna have access to it. Like men of affluence in particular are gonna have access to the robot. So I mean that before, of course, you know, they're more accessible. But I'm saying that the artificial womb, surrogacy being more accessible. I said, I get it. You feeling some type of way. But on the flip, it's going to humble women too. Because a lot of women got gassed up. You can thank social media for that shit. A lot of y'all simpy ass dudes, you can thank for that. I'm saying gassing these chicks' heads up, like just thinking they good enough just because they got a fat ass or, you know what I mean, anything. Just like it can be something real basic. Oh, you look good, man, all that bullshit. And, you know, like sending dick pics and DMing these shit. Like I said, you got these chicks' heads gassed up right now. And I said, to me, like, it's going to humble some women. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to humble women. The fact that you have true competition now. Now you have true competition. Okay, let's say like with porn. A lot of women, they don't like dudes watching porn, right? But they don't feel threatened by it. Why? Because they still have the monopoly. They still have the monopoly on emotional gratification and sense of touch. That's 2 things you can't get from porn that a lot of dudes desire. But once you put the robot in the picture, you got something you can touch and possibly touch you back. you got something that you can emotionally confide in. And it can, I mean, even though it's mostly programmed, it can at least emulate, you know, that connection right there. And I know a lot of women say, oh, but the robot ain't gonna really love you. And then you got some dudes like these bitches do. You know, they don't love us anyway. So I'd rather have somebody pretend and play the part well, and I have 100% loyalty from it, opposed to a woman that might, you know, stay with me or might dip with the bag. You know what I mean? So it's like, come on, she might dip with the bag. So is it really worth it? I'll say it just makes you think, man. But anyway, Southpaw Slick. I will be dropping some new tunes, and I also will be dropping some new content on my Nerd Game Gaming channel. So you'll be on the lookout for that. All right? Doses.